that sucked. Chiefs lose 24-9 in an absolute disgrace of a game. I know Mahomes had the flu, but good gracious. That was just bad on all ends. We're going to have a little rant for you here, just kind of talking through what exactly happened, what went wrong. And, by the way, happy Halloween, if you celebrate that. But Patrick Mahomes, 2 interceptions. That was 2 of the 5 turnovers the Chiefs had this game. Under 300 yards, under 250, actually. 241. Pacheco had 8 carries, only 8 carries in a game where it was freezing. Kelce, 6 receptions for 58 yards. And then Javonte, 27 carries for 85 yards. The run defense was, well, atrocious, to put it lightly, in terms of Chiefs' usual, what they've been doing this year. Where do I start with this one? I think the first thing we have to look at is what went wrong and what went right. What went wrong? Well, you had 5 turnovers. Mecole Hardman fumbled a punt return that honestly he shouldn't have been returning, to be quite honest with you. It really should have been just, I'm going to let this bounce into the end zone. He was at the 10-yard line. The offense didn't perform well, which you kind of expect that. Like, Mahomes had, quote-unquote, they said the flu. His wife and his daughter had the flu this week, and so they're saying he had that, and, well, he kind of showed it. He didn't look good, but you got to ask other members to step up. But I think the thing is, if you ask other members to step up, why did Isaiah Pacheco only have 8 carries? Which I think can kind of lead us into this question of, who do you blame for this loss? I mean, is it the coaching staff for not giving Pacheco more runs? Is it Mahomes for saying he can go and when he looked bad? Is it Mecole Hardman? Is it Marques Valedez-Scantling who fumbled the ball? I mean, let me know in the comment section of today, who do you blame for this loss? Because there's a lot of people you could blame, but overall, I want to know your opinion as if you had to pick one guy, who is it? Let me know in the comment section. Mahomes, well, he may be one of those guys. 240, 3 turnovers, 0 touchdowns. In fact, this was the first time the Chiefs hadn't scored a touchdown since 2021 in December against the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, that's over, just under 2 years ago. That's not great at all. 3 turnovers, 241. And for having the flu and in a cold game, it honestly wasn't terrible from Mahomes. But the thing that kind of, I'm not going to say sucks about it, but stinks is that if he had the flu this bad, I mean, do you want to throw Gabbard out there? But at the same time, he didn't play terrible. But the problem is, why are you only giving Isaiah Pacheco only 8 carries? Like, Pacheco to this game, he had previous games where he was going for 20 carries. He had 15. This is the lowest amount of carries he's had pretty much all season, 40 yards. He had a 19-yard rush at one point. That was the first rush of the game, or rather, first rush of the second drive, where he just kind of ran up the gut and got 19 yards. Why wasn't he used more? I truly am a little confused by that because I can be quite honest with you. Before this game, my mind was set. They're going to run the ball a lot because of the cold weather. It was snowing all yesterday. They had to plow the field before the game. It just wasn't a good atmosphere for passing, so they were going to run it. That didn't happen. Instead, they tried to throw it, and, well, receiving numbers were there, but at the same time, they didn't get the win, so it didn't really matter. Travis Kelce had 6 for 58, which, when that's your best receiver, that's not great. Rashee had 4 for 56. He also had a drop. That was pretty abysmal, which has been a problem with him this year. He's had a couple of drops where it's just been really not that good. Justin Watson, 2 catches, 42 yards. Glad to see him back in the field. He looked good overall. The missing piece, though, was Sky Moore. You're not seeing him on that list because, well, he kind of sucked. He dropped a pass in the end zone, and it was just bad. But thing is, he wasn't the only person to drop something that was pretty critical. I talked about it before. But Mecole Hardman, well, the fumble. He tried to return a kick, or rather a punt, inside the 5-yard line after the Chiefs had just gotten a huge sack on 3rd down. They had all the momentum, and it was going to be one drive to go and score a touchdown with like 6 minutes left. He could have scored there, possibly won the game. Instead, he fumbles it at the 5. The Broncos get it at the 10, and they're running in after that. And, well, that's not great. 2 receptions for 13 yards. Mecole just didn't look good. He tried to be a hero too many times. And in some ways, I think that kick return last week went to his head. and he thought, oh, well, I got to do that every time. When in reality, we just need you to catch the ball and get what you can. If that's 50, that's great. If that's 10, that's great. If that's 2, that's fine. Just get the ball in your hands, don't fumble it, and then go there. I think that's the biggest thing with punt returners is don't fumble the ball. Now, the biggest thing in this game was my prize picks, which, well, it didn't really exactly hit. But you can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and then use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers instead of battling of thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can win up to $25, 25 times your entry amount. Now, again, 2 or more players is all you got to do. Then pick more or less on their prize picks projection. Then you can choose for flex or power play. Power play, you got to get all of them right. You can win up to 25 times your money. If you use flex, if you get a couple of them right, you're still going to probably make your money back. Well, I did not do either of that because I took the power play, and big one. 2 of those were great. Pacheco did not score a touchdown because the Chiefs didn't score a touchdown. So the less on Mahomes, yeah, that was there. The more on Isaiah Pacheco and Javonte Williams going over 114 combined. That was there, but Pacheco did not score a touchdown because, well, this team just couldn't get it near the end zone. But I'm telling you what, I'm going to bounce back. We got Monday Night Football tomorrow, and I'm going to earn my entries right back tomorrow. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and then use code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. Okay, the Broncos offense wasn't good. I mean, to be quite honest with you, they really just kind of held on to the ball. In the second half, the Chiefs had the ball for really not that amount of time. At one point, Mahomes had only had 7 plays. Compared to the Broncos, had I think 20-something. So 12 for 19 for 87 yards, but the big number, 40 carries for 153 yards with 3.8 on the average. You can't let a team who is this bad get 3.8 yards per carry against you. They only had 1 turnover forced as well. It's neither here nor there, but you really miss Nick Bolton, which kind of sucks because this game was full of injuries as well in the linebacker area, with the main one being Willie Gay Jr. He left the game with a tailbone. It's a typo there. Charge is supposed to be Broncos, but he left the game with a tailbone injury. It's really tough there because I think you're missing out in terms of how important he was to the defense. You have Nick Bolton, who was missed. You have Willie Gay. There we go. Hey, we're on top of it here at Chat Sports. We got it fixed on the dot. You have Willie Gay Jr. on the left side. You got Leo Chenal on the right, and you got Nick Bolton in the middle. Well, Nick Bolton, he obviously suffered that dislocated wrist in Week 7. You had right there Willie Gay, who then out this game. So I think this is the first time where, listen, Drew Tranquill had filled him well for Bolton a lot. But this was the first time that we had seen Nick Bolton and thought, or not seen him and thought, yeah, the Chiefs definitely miss him. Because Nick overall had been really good with this defense. I mean, Bears game, he looked good. Jets game, he looked good. But this game, I mean, I know he got injured a little bit, came out for a couple plays, but Nick Bolton was severely missed in this game, unfortunately. And listen, it's not going to get any better. It's not going to be. And he's out for 8 games. You don't get him next week against the freaking Miami Dolphins, who, by the way, are one of the best offensive teams in football. So it's neither here nor there, but overall, I think this team can play better. And really, it comes to holding the quarterback intact next week with Tua, which I've got to be honest. Yeah, Russell Wilson had 3 touchdowns, but he was only 12 for 19 for 114 yards. He just kind of let the guys run down the field, and then he made good passes. I mean, I'll give him credit there, close to the end zone. In the red zone, he made some good throws. He had a fade route to Jerry Jeudy, had a nice pass to Cortland Sutton in the left corner of the end zone. I'm not going to lie. He had some good passes in the end zone, but those were the only passes he had to make all day because Javonte was just running up and down the field along with McLaughlin. I mean, they just couldn't stop the run. So, but I will tell you what, the trade deadline is Tuesday. Maybe this sparks a trade. Maybe this sparks Brett Veach to say, oh, I thought we were fine. We were 6-1. We looked great. And, well, guess what? Now, not that way. So make sure you hit that sub button as we're going to have more updates upcoming with the trade, upcoming with this loss. We're going to talk about what it means for the Chiefs. And ultimately, if the Chiefs make a move, we're going to have the first report right here for the Chiefs. So we're going to have that for you all right here on the Chiefs Report. Make sure you are subscribed as we're going to give you all the updates as always. All right, Sunday Night Football coming up here. You have the Bears and the Chargers. We have a couple. We got a watch party for you if you want to go watch that with Harrison. I know some of y'all know him. He's doing the Bears tonight. Go watch him. Go have some fun. Try and just drown this loss out with other football. 24-9 is just not good. Obviously, you got to root for the Bears taking out the Chargers. Listen, the AFC West is not going to be a problem. I know the Broncos got their first win in 17 tries, but there's that. And then the Raiders, well, they're also a primetime game tomorrow. They take on the Lions on Monday Night Football. Make sure you go root on the Lions. I'll tell you what, we got a Raiders channel here. Go put some Casey's in there tomorrow and just tell them to get out of here. Again, drown out the loss with some other losses in the AFC. You lost to the Broncos, so you can't make them lose, but you can go help the Chargers and the Raiders lose and help this AFC West kind of bounce back, take over. You're still in first place. That's not going anywhere no matter what. Well, I mentioned it. The Chiefs have the Dolphins next week. Will they bounce back? Dolphins are a good team. I'm not going to lie. This is probably the toughest challenge the Chiefs have had all year. And hopefully Mahomes will feel a little better by then. But it is in Frankfurt, Germany. Not going to lie. Chiefs are really going to have to kind of heal up quick. They're probably going to be on the plane probably Wednesday. Because I've heard some of the traveling kind of debacles with London. Supposedly, the teams who left on Friday, well, those were the ones who lost. So a lot of teams are going to leave on Wednesday. Flight to Germany is not short. Will the Chiefs bounce back versus the Dolphins? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. This was a tough game. But I'm telling you what, we're having fun on the Chiefs Report no matter what. That's why I'm wearing this. Happy Halloween, upcoming days. We appreciate you as always. Like the video to bounce back and let me know. Go Chiefs. We'll have a watch party for you upcoming this next coming Sunday with the Chiefs and the Broncos. And thanks to our amazing watch party we had today, well, we're going to have a 1 hour long pregame tailgate for you. We'll be live at around 7:30 a.m. Early time next week. We appreciate you as always and peace out.